Are you worried about your weight and COVID? Well, you're not alone. Your risk of death from COVID-19 increases by 90% if you have a BMI of 40 or above. We'll pop links to all the studies we reference in the description with timestamps so you can do your own research too. The research is actually shocking. A survey of Americans reported that 42% of people said they'd gained an average of 29 pounds since the pandemic began. And of those 42%, 10% said they'd gained over 50 pounds. The weight gain is in the space of a year. And one thing we know about weight gain is it's easy to gain and hard to lose, and even harder to keep off. The World Obesity Federation launched a campaign this year with the slogan saying, "Everybody needs everybody." They have encouraged us to come together and talk openly and honestly about this global crisis. Because now, more than ever, everybody matters if we are to build a healthier world for everybody now and future generations. One of the reasons we don't talk about obesity is in doing so, we come across as shaming and judging people. Patients with obesity reported avoiding medical appointments because they fear disrespect and discrimination. And according to the reports of the Institute of Employment Studies, many overweight employees felt they were overlooked for a promotion and labelled lazy or lacking control. And while we might celebrate people being happy in their own skin and rocking the covers of magazines, a place is usually reserved for stick-thin models or airbrush celebrities. We want to talk about obesity because it's too serious to normalise, and we want to help you. Now, I don't know you, and if you're watching this right now, I don't know anything about you, and I'm certainly not here to judge you. I don't know who you are, I don't know what your struggles are, I don't know where you've come from. I just want to talk in a safe, non-judgmental but factual way. I'm part of an amazing, compassionate and dedicated team who help people connect the dots between their mindset, nutrition and fitness. We're health coaches, and I want to share with you today some of the strategies that might give you some inspiration, motivation and really help you with your own health after watching this video. So let's first start by saying that obesity is pretty complex. It's multifaceted and often a reoccurring lifelong issue for people living with obesity. While I don't have all the answers, I do have some data. According to the World Health Organization in 2016, when the figures were last released, more than 1.9 billion adults aged 18 and over were overweight. And of those as overweight, 650 million were classed as living with obesity. The following stats are from worldobesity.org, outlining population percentages who are living with obesity. In the US, 41.8% of women are living with obesity, and 42.2% of men, 38% of girls, and 34.5% of boys. And in the UK, 24.7% of women are living with obesity and 24.8% of men, 36% of girls and 41% of boys. According to the report by the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health, in the UK, 20% of children are obese by the age of 11. President of the RCPCH, Professor Neena Modi, said that 4/5 of obese children will remain obese as adults, and this will result in them losing 10 to 20 years of a healthy life. Our fast-paced, stress-driven, convenience is king lifestyles are making it so much harder for these younger people to lose the weight they gained in childhood. It's this convenience culture that also makes it so difficult for parents to maintain a healthy weight. And having an obese parent makes you almost 80% likely to be obese yourself in adulthood. A study by the New England Medical Journal titled "Predicting Obesity in Young Adulthood from Childhood and Parental Obesity" stated that the chance of obesity in adulthood ranged from 8% for 1 to 2-year-olds without obese parents to a whopping 79% for 10 to 14-year-olds with at least one obese parent. Now, there's no denying that in order to help people who are overweight and obese, governments need to tackle health inequalities. Obesity is a societal issue that requires a major change from a policy level. On an individual level, I promise we can all make the change to help our current health markers and future health outcomes, to be around for our kids and our children and grandchildren, and to have a better, longer and healthier life. According to a multitude of studies that have been pushed through since the first outbreak of COVID-19, the following factors make you more at risk of dying from COVID. Your age. If you're over 70, you have a higher risk of dying from COVID. Your sex. men are 60% more likely to die from COVID. Your ethnic background does play a role. If you have an underlying medical condition, including asthma, diabetes, heart disease, or high blood pressure, where you live due to socio-economic factors, your job, and your risk of COVID-19 exposure, whether you're a smoker, and finally, if you're obese. One study found that people with a BMI of 35 to 40, the risk of death from COVID increases by 40%. And with a BMI over 40, the risk of death from COVID-19 increases to 90% compared to those that are not living with obesity. But why? Why has COVID affected people who are overweight and obese more than those who are not? I think the American cardiologist Darius Mozzafarain, I hope I said your name right, who is the advisor to the World Health Organization, explained this in a way that we can all understand and visualize. He said, COVID is an interesting and dangerous virus. It infects the lungs and the endothelial cells within the blood vessels. Now, endothelial cells are involved in the regulation of blood flow. People who have diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and obesity all have common factors, and that is that one of the earliest signs is that blood vessel function decreases and they become unwell. This is what leads to inflammation, hardening of the arteries, and an increase in blood pressure. People with healthy blood vessels do better at fighting off COVID than those without healthy blood vessels. It is possible to improve your endothelial cell function by losing weight, exercising, and improving your fitness and cardiovascular levels, and eating a healthy diet. Dariush Mozzafarain also said obesity is the biggest story that's not being talked about. The slow pandemic of obesity has intertwined with the fast pandemic of COVID-19. So what can you do? Because we're not here to give you all these fear-mongering stats without giving you any practical advice. So again, I want to stress that this is a judgment-free zone. But if you're watching this and you're worried about your weight, I want to help. I also want to start with a bit of tough love too, because I'm a true believer in what I'm about to say, and I say it to everyone about anything they're trying to change in their lives. Yes, it might not be your fault where you are right now, and yes, circumstances might have got you here, and it's going to be a challenge, but you can certainly change it. And it all starts by being able to say, I take responsibility. I take responsibility for my future, and it doesn't matter about the past. All that matters is the moment we have now and every moment in the future. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I want you to draw an imaginary line and wave goodbye to yesterday and only focus on today and tomorrow. Tip 1, learn all about what a calorie deficit is. Now, I want you to treat this as learning for life. I've got a video on this which I know will help you understand what a calorie or an energy deficit is, and it will make it really clear for you moving forwards. It can increase and improve your knowledge around calories, and this is going to be so beneficial on anybody's fat loss journey. Try not to think of this as dieting with an end date, because that doesn't work, and this isn't. It's all about a lifestyle and sustainability. It's about understanding the caloric value of the foods and drinks that you consume. Once you know that, you can use that knowledge to influence and make smarter, more educated choices about what you eat and drink. Now, this is a big one. I want you to completely turn your back on any fads. So no shakes, pills, creams, detoxes, juice cleansers. If you can't do a diet for the long term, eventually when you go back to eating normally, you're going to gain the weight back that you work so hard to lose. And I don't want that to happen for you. And I really want you to stop putting an end date on things. So no need to think of this as a 6-week or a 12-week program. You just get to make food and drink decisions one day at a time. So learn all about a calorie deficit, what it is, how to calculate it, and how to track your food. Follow me on Instagram or anywhere else on social media platforms. I talk about this all the time, and I want to help you and save you a lot of time spent wasted on these diets that do not work long term. Tip 2, start to incorporate some intentional movement. No, you do not need to go to the gym 5 days a week. And yes, you will definitely see some positive health benefits from moving more. Now, I know that gyms can be a daunting place, and if you're not comfortable heading to a gym, you could even go for a walk or do some dancing at home, anything that's going to help you move more. There are so many home fitness workouts you can find on YouTube for every level, and they're going to help you get your heart rate up and improve that all-important cardiovascular health. So I want you to ask yourself, what's the least that you can commit to when it comes to exercise? Even if that's just intentional walking, could you do this 3 times a week for 45 minutes? Awesome, book it in the calendar now, and remember, bosses don't cancel. I always get clients to do this. Now remember, you are the boss of your life. If you could pause this video right now and put some time in your calendar to move more, that'd be fantastic. Remember we talked about COVID attacking those important endothelial cells? Well, a moderate session of exercise can acutely improve the endothelial function for up to 17 hours. And longer term daily exercise is associated with improved endothelial function. Tip 3, get great sleep. One of the contributing factors to obesity is reduced sleep. When you don't get enough sleep, your body produces more ghrelin, which increases cravings. There have been many studies into poor sleep and the link with obesity. Aiming for at least 7 hours of quality sleep per night will really help your hunger hormones. Many of us are not getting enough quality sleep. And in Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, he makes a great point that the human body has spent 300,000 years perfecting getting 7 to 9 hours sleep per night. And it's only in the past 100 years that we've tried to unprogram that and sleep less. We're the only mammals on Earth that try to sleep less than we need. Excess screen time, excess caffeine, and excess stress keeps us up late. So winding down before bed, having a cold, dark room, and limiting screen time before sleep can all help. Tip 4, take vitamin D and supplements. While most studies are needed into the effect of vitamin D and those with COVID, the British Medical Journal published a paper in March 2021 that said vitamin D supplementation of 10 to 25 micrograms a day has a modest protective effect against acute respiratory infections. During the winter months, vitamin D supplements were available for free on the NHS to those classed as clinically vulnerable to COVID. While more studies are needed, vitamin D is a relatively inexpensive supplement that many people in the Northern Hemisphere are deficient in. A good multivitamin and omega-3 supplement is always something I recommend to my clients at Body Smart to plug any nutritional gaps. And a good quality protein powder that can be mixed into smoothies or drank to increase protein intake easily. Tip 5, get a blood test. This is more common in countries like America and Canada and less common here in the UK. But one of the ways you can really tell what is going on with your health is to get a blood test. If you look for baseline blood tests online, you'll be able to assess which one might be good for you. I found some online that were anywhere between £40 and £65 for a home finger prick test that you send back in the post, to an in-person test in a clinic for around £150. I've popped some links to the ones that we looked at in the description below. These baseline tests will give you some markers and facts to work from. For example, one of the tests I looked at reported that 79% of people who take the tests are deficient in vitamin D, which links back to my earlier point. If you know that's an issue for you from a blood test, you can take the right action. If you book or buy a test as soon as possible, and then book or buy a follow-up test in 6 months or a year, you will be able to compare how your body is functioning and if any improvements have been made. This also acts as great motivation to keep going with your 1% better everyday habits, as we know that sticking to our new habits can feel like a challenge. Tip 6, remember your why. At Body Smart, we always get our clients to focus on their why, which is their deeper reason and an intrinsic motivation to succeed. If you are genuinely worried about your weight and COVID, if you've worried about obesity and heard the shocking statistics of being 90% more likely to die from the disease, then let that be a factor that drives you. Because you too do not need to be a statistic. While it might not be easy and it might be a long road ahead, you can reduce your body fat, improve your blood vessels, decrease your risk of other comorbidities, and be around longer for your kids and grandkids. Tip 7, the power of tiny gains. Get rid of all those thoughts of quick fixes. If you're overweight and you're watching this, it's going to take time, and that's okay. So give yourself the gift of time. And the phrase I love to use is aim to get just 1% better every day. This helps you not get overwhelmed with the journey ahead because you're taking it one day at a time. The compounding effect of these tiny gains means that you will see big results over time. So let's start taking progressive steps forward for where you want to be. I'm Jaymie from Body Smart Fitness, and if you've got any comments, please let me know. I'll link some more helpful videos at the end for anyone who's ready to take action and take responsibility for today and work towards a hopeful tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.